So greetings of the day, students. So in today's lab, we are going to do the very first program of your subject, which is Artificial Intelligence and Soft Computing Lab. And the very first program is about to check if a given number, that the number being input by the user is prime number or not. So before doing a program like this, so you must be very careful and you must be very clear in your mind that what are prime numbers. So a prime number is that number which is only divisible by two numbers. Okay. So what two numbers are that? So a prime number is that which is divisible by itself and one. Okay. So if a number is only divisible by itself and one, it means that number is a prime number. So if I give you an example here, that suppose you have a number 3, and if you want to divide 3 with something, so with which number you can divide it? You can only divide it with itself. It means 3 divided by 3, that will be 1. And the other thing with which you can divide your 3 is with 1. Okay, 1 3s are 3. So if a number is only divisible by itself and with 1, it means that number is a prime number. On the other side, if you have a number with you, that can be divisible by some other numbers also. For example, if I take the example of 8, so 8 number is actually divisible by 2 also. 2 4s are 8. It is also divisible by 4. 4 2s are 8. It is also divisible by itself, that is 8. 8 divided by 8 is 1. And it is also divisible by 1. So this number is not a prime number. So I hope that with this, I can start the Python code where I'm going to create a program, and what will be the input to the program? I will give it a number of my choice. Whenever I will give it a number, it will give me the output whether the number entered by me is prime number or not. It means if it is prime, I will get the output, yes, it's prime number. Otherwise, I will get the output that it is not prime number. So here we are going to use if and else, and I hope that the Python concepts that you have done already are already clear in your mind, and we can directly move towards the coding. Okay. So the agenda is to just do one program, and what is that? It is a program to check if a number is prime or not. So it means in the beginning, we are going to give or input a number, right? So a number will be input. So suppose A is the number that I will input. I will ask the user to input this number. Okay. And when this number will be passed, what that program will do, it will check whether this number is prime number or not. If it is prime number, what will be the output we are going to get? We will get, yes, it's a prime number. Otherwise, if it is not a prime number, the program will check it and will return you that that this is not a prime number. So very first thing that I'm going to do is just give a comment at the top. It means I'm going to give a heading. Okay. So this is a Python program. And what I'm going to do with it, Python program to check if a given number is even or is prime or not. I'm not checking up the number is even or not. I'm checking if the number is prime or not. Okay, so this is a single line command. So before checking if a number is prime or not, first of all, I have to input that number. So suppose I'm asking the user to input the number, right? So suppose user is using the variable name num to get the input. Okay, so num equals to, and as you know that there was a drawback of your input function. And what was the drawback of your input function? The drawback was that even if you pass an integer to input function, it will automatically convert it into string. So suppose if I will enter 25, so according to me, I have entered an integer. But what this input function will do? It will automatically convert it into a string. It means it is no more an integer. Actually, it is becoming a string, and you can't do arithmetic operations on string. So if it is considering every integer as a string, I have to forcibly convert it into integer. So I'm writing int here, or you can use eval also if you remember, to convert the input into its type. And then I am giving a message, enter a number. Okay, so I am going to just get a number from the user. Okay, so if a number, I am interested that if a number is greater than 1, only I will check that whether it is prime or not. I am not going to check any number which is negative. For example, -5, -4. I'm not interested in such numbers. And I don't want to check whether they are prime or not. You know, the prime numbers are only mostly positive numbers. Even if there is 0, right? 0 is a whole number and you can't check it is a prime number. It means we can check the numbers and even 1, right? You can't check because the prime numbers, they start from 2 and so on. Okay, so I am writing that if by mistake user is entering -1, -2 negative number, or even 0 or 1, okay, so you will say that you are not interested in it, you don't want to check it, it is not a prime number. Okay, but I am just writing that if number is greater than 1, only I am interested in it. So I am starting an if. Okay, so if number is greater than 1, it means this condition is satisfied. The number entered by the user, if that is entered, for example 2, 3, 4, 5, only then I will check that it is prime or not. Otherwise I will display some other message. Maybe I will display a message like please enter a valid number, please enter a number which is greater than 1. Okay, but if a number entered by the user is greater than 1, so how we generally check the prime number? So here I am just, before here also I can give a comment for you people just to realize that what we are doing here. So here, why we are writing this if? We are writing this if to make sure that number should be greater than 1. So I'm giving a comment here that if given number, if given number is greater than 1. Okay, so we are performing this check only if the number is greater than 1. So who is going to tell us if it is greater than 1? This condition. If it is greater than 1, only then we are able to move to the next line. Okay, so now we are going to check if it is prime or not. So what is the method of checking? So you can iterate. Okay, so I have to iterate. Iterate means I have to just move using for loop. Iterate means you are going everywhere. You are going at every step from where we are starting from to, it means the very first number is 2 to n by 2. Just, I have just given a heading here that Python program to check if a given number is prime or not. Okay, so very first thing we are doing is we are getting an input from the user, what number the user wants to check, and we are just inputting that number in a temporary variable. And what is the name of that variable? It is num. Okay, and after that, what I was telling you, that we will check the number is prime only if the number entered by the user is greater than 1. Why? Because we are not interested in negative numbers, we are not interested in 0, and we are even not interested in 1. We are interested in numbers which are greater than 1, that is 2, and all the numbers above it. So we want to make it sure that the number entered by the user to check if it is prime or not should be greater than 1. So if we write this condition, if number is greater than 1, okay, so obviously if the number entered by the user is greater than 1, only you will be able to enter inside this if. Okay, so once the number that you enter is greater than 1, you will perform certain checks on it. Okay, so I am not writing that, I am moving to the else. Else means if the number entered by the user is not greater than 1, it means 0 is entered or minus numbers are entered. So what I will print, we will print that number is not a prime number. It means if it is 0 or if it is minus, -1, -2, so we will say that number, we will give a message, number is not a prime number. Okay, so these two are working together. If number is greater than 1, so we will move here and we will do certain operations. Otherwise, if number is not greater than 1, it means 0 is entered by the user or even minus numbers are entered by the user. So this condition will become false, right? So we will move to the else and we will print number is not a prime number. Okay, but if number is greater than 1, then what will we do? We will iterate from 2 to n by 2. It means we are going to create a for loop. Okay, so how your for loop actually works? Let me just check if the indentation is okay. Yeah, here is the indentation. So first of all, I have to write for I in range. You start from 2, okay, and then you go all the way till int number by 2 plus 1. So what this for loop is telling me or telling you is that you should start from 2 always, not from 1 or anything. So I am always starting from 2. Okay, because to check if a number is prime or not, you divide it with the numbers greater than 1, because if it is only divisible by 1, it means that it is not a prime number. But we are checking that if it is a prime number or not. So I am giving a range that, okay, start from 2 and go all the way till the number divided by 2. So suppose the number entered by the user is 20 here. What number the user is entering? 20. Okay, so if you check this condition, is 20 greater than 1? Yes, 20 is greater than 1. So if it is greater than 1, so I am using the for loop. So my for loop will start from 2, okay, and it will go, it starts from, I'm writing it here, it starts from 2 and it will go all the way to num divided by 2 plus 1. So why I'm writing integer? Because sometimes you divide it and you get decimal numbers, but I want only the integer part. So num divided by 2 means 20 divided by 2, that is 10, and plus 1 means 11. So your loop will go from 2 to 11. Half of your number plus 1. It means it will go from 2 to 10. If you are writing 11, it means it will go from 2 to 10. Okay. So while it is moving between these two points, 2 till 11, what do you want to do? You want to check if your number, whatever number you have entered, percentage I means any number of I. You know, in the beginning, I will be 2, then it will be 3, then it will be 4, then it will be 5, then it will be 6. Your I loop is moving from 2 till 10. Okay, and if your number, this 20, is divisible by any of these numbers, if your 20 is divisible by 2, yes. If your 20 is divisible by 3, no. If it is divisible by 4, yes. It is divisible by 5, yes. It is divisible by 6, no. With 7, no. 8, no. 9, no. 10, yes. Okay, so if your number is divisible by any means even a single, if you start in the beginning, i's value is 2, so your number 20 is divisible by 2. Okay, so why we say it is divisible by 2? If their remainder is 0. Now if it is divisible by any number in between, so obviously you will say that it is not a prime number, because a prime number is only divisible by itself and 1. Okay, but if it is divisible by any number, it means it is not a prime number. So you will print a message, num is not a prime number. Okay, and after that you can break the program. It means you just want to end the program. Okay, but suppose this loop is moving and it is not divisible by any of these. It means this condition is not true. It is not divisible by any of these. Then what will happen? The else will run, right? So what the else will say? Else will say that it is a prime number. Okay, so print number, or you can say num is a prime number. So this is a very small code that we are going to do today, and we will check if it is working or not. So how it will run? So I will be asked to enter a number here. Okay. So suppose if I enter 0 here, the number entered by me is 0, suppose. So what will happen? So this thing will run after you input the number, the condition will be checked. Is 0 greater than 1? If you check it, is 0 greater than 1? Okay. So the output will be false. If the output will be false, the statements following the if will not run. Where you move, you will move to the else part. And you will get 0 is not a prime number. Okay, even if you enter -1, even if you enter suppose -7 here, okay, and -7 is greater than 1 will be checked. What will happen? The condition is again false. So if the condition is false, these statements will not run. You will move directly to the else part. Okay. So the second scenario, the next is that suppose we are entering 10. Okay. Now 10 is greater than 1. It means this is a valid number with us. Now we will iterate from 2 to 6. It means 2 to 5. We will check if 10 is divisible by 2. 10 is divisible by 2. Yes. If it is divisible by any other number than 10 and 1, it means yes. It means it is a prime number. Otherwise, you will say that it is not a prime number. Okay. If it is divisible, it means it is not a prime number. 10, you are able to divide it with what? You are able to divide it with 2. You are also able to divide it with 5. So when you divide 10 with 2 or you divide 10 with 5, what will happen? The remainder you will get is 0. And if the remainder you get is 0, it means that number is not a prime number, right? And after that, you will break the program. Otherwise, if it is not divisible by any of the number between 2 and 5, it means it is divisible by itself only and by 1 only. So you will get it is a prime number. Okay. So let me show you by running it. Okay, I have to just remove this 10 from here. So if I run it, so suppose I enter the number 10. Now 10, if you say that it is divisible by 2 with 5, so obviously it is not a prime number. Okay, let's run it again. This time let's enter only 3. Okay, so as you know that 3 is only if you divide 3 by 2. So you will get something like 1. 3 divided by 2, that is 1. Okay, so if you just do, just wait, 3, we will check it again. So if I have entered the number 12, okay, so what it does, that you know that 12 is divisible by 2 also, with 3 also, with 4 also, right? It means it is not a prime number. And if we run it again and this time we give it a number like 13, so it is saying that it is a prime number. It's moving inside the loop again and again, and you can just get the print out of that and then it will work one time. Okay, because it is just checking it for every value with which it is dividing it and then saying that it is not a prime number. Okay, so in that case you can just keep it like here, you can just keep it out of it like this and you save it and you run it. Okay, so if we enter 12, we get it is not a prime number. If we will enter suppose 13, just wait, 13, so you will get 13 is a prime number. Okay, so I have just taken this else out of it. Otherwise, this part was working again and again because it was inside the for loop. I have just taken it outside of the for loop so that it will work only once. All right. So with that, I'm about to end this class. I hope that you have enjoyed it, and just keep learning and stay safe. Okay, then. Bye.